You are listening to the Lucha Central Podcast Network. And now, LuchaCentral.com presents Masks, Mats, and Mayhem.
The other stuff.
Intro, yes, I've written out intro, EV.
Oh, Jordan reports is on the show. Welcome to another edition of Masks, Mats, and Mayhem. I'm your host, the Outlaw LA Red. You can find me on social media at JustinHarvey75. You can find the entire show on social media at MMMShow75. That over there is at Lucha Gringo. That up there is at Meatloaf. Meatloaf? Is that what Evie Dub called you before? Meatloaf. Meat. And that right there is at Byron Fever. This is our new show. You can find us on LuchaCentral.com's podcast network. You can find us on iTunes in this new stream. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Spreaker. You can find us, but damn it,
Prisoner Hunting Grounds.
And when you do find us, you better do these steps pretty please, so that in the future we have super great advertisers that keep this show free and fun for everyone. So what you're going to do is you're going to find us on your favorite outlet to watch the show. You're going to rate, you're going to subscribe, and you're going to review. We need you to do those things. Do a
and
click.
If you're doing YouTube, thumbs up us.
Thumbs up. You know, if you're on iTunes, give us the 5 stars and write us a fun review. Tell us what you like about the show. Tell us what you want to see more of. Tell us what your favorite guests are, who you want to see on the show. Tell us all of the things, because we love you. You love us. We want to stay around and keep doing this. There's one easy way to do it, and right now that is to give us the thumbs up wherever you can. And that goes for the whole Lucha Central Podcast Network. Hook us all up, brother.
Yes. Yeah,
give us reviews.
Our goal as a podcast is to have Lucha Central work it out so that we can get one of those ball shapers sponsorships.
Wow. That's
so we could get one ball shaper for the 4 of us.
Hey, dude, you know what? It's not going to be gross until we have to send it all the way to the UK for Meath. Like, you know, if me and Justin use it, it's fine. Once it gets to New York, it'll be a little nasty. But Byron's hairy as fuck, dog.
Dude, you guys live in the valley. It's not going to be fine. My light
you see what I deal with, people? You see what I deal with? This is what I deal with.
Wow, Byron, that shirt's pretty wet, dog.
Yeah, no, it's not the only thing that's wet.
Well, Jesus. I got to say, though, I hate to bring it down because we are having a good time and this show is supposed to be fun and entertaining, but this was a bit of a tough week in wrestling all around. We had some wrestling journalists that left us too soon a few weeks ago. What's that, Byron? I didn't hear you.
Larry Saka.
Yeah.
Who was the fucking man? I don't know if you guys read his stuff, but I feel like I've been reading it for years. He's been around a long time. I
mean, when we first met in high school and we were making up luchador names and watching NWO stuff, back then he was writing, and he's been one of the most prolific internet wrestling community writers of all time. So much so, even like this generation of wrestlers.
I used to think he was the real Zonk for a while, and like he just liked wrestling too, but it's completely different people.
Yeah, he tragically passed, and then another one from his time who hasn't written in a while. Chris Hyatt is, if you follow his Twitter, it's weird. He says he's on his way out because he stopped taking dialysis. So he was another very influential wrestling writer with his mop-ups and whatnot. I always thought he was like the good version of Scott Keith. Yeah, so did he, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if they liked each other, but yeah.
I don't think Scott Keith knew about him, but Hyatt definitely wrote about him a lot.
And then there was also the Hana Kimura news that came out.
Man, I can't even find the words to say about that shit. That just bummed me fuck out, man.
I mean, and it's tough. Like, you know, working in reality TV, I see what some of the people on these shows go through, and I know that these are people that are seeking attention to a certain extent. And if you've never seen the show, there's a show called Terrace House, which is very kind of like the old school Real World.
Yeah, it's not quite Big Brother, but it's
no, like because there's not a lot of
people.
games and stuff. It's really just these, Japanese youths kind of living together, and they move around every season. And it's very popular in Japan. But they also cut into it with segments of commentators kind of talking about what's happening.
And the commentators shit on everyone. Like,
well, they don't always shit on everyone. Like if a story's cute, they say it's cute. But if somebody it's Johnny, he's being very mean to Linda this week, and we don't know, and it does kind of influence how people feel, and that definitely happened to her on that show, and then that extended into social media, and then stuff with wrestling. Wrestling fans aren't always the nicest people in the world. I've done it myself on the interwebs. And Meatloaf and I even saw it happening to one of my favorite fighters, Jessica I, this morning. She literally put up a post that was just really excited about a main event possibility. And like the 20 or 30 comments in a row were just absolutely shitting on her, just kind of devastating her. It's like there's cyberbullying, but at a certain point, people are going to say what they want to say on the internet. It's one of the beauties of free media and free speech and expressing yourself. But at the same time, none of us can be blind to the fact that it does have an impact, especially when all of a sudden it's 10,000 people saying the same thing. You just feel like a bad person.
When you're a 22-year-old girl that's had social media in her entire life.
Yeah. And I think that mental health is still the bigger issue and the real issue behind any kind of tragic event like that. But at the same time, it makes me take a more careful look at my own personal activities. And I'm not recommending what anyone else should do. I'm not preaching to anyone. I'm just saying after that story, I took a pretty hard look at the way I conduct myself. And I don't know that I'll completely change overnight, but I can definitely tell you that there's always a place where you can start to at least think about your own actions. And I don't want to get too deep or serious, but
right. I do want to say, like, the first time I saw Hana Kimura wrestle, she was 8 years old, and she beat her mom for the DDT Iron Man Open Heavy Metalweight Championship. And so she was an 8-year-old champion. And yeah, my thoughts are with her mom right now because that was her baby and they were really close. And she was just 22. Her mom in the wrestling business as well, brought her up in the business, taught her everything that she knew. And they were very helpful to the Gaijin wrestlers that went over there.
Yeah, you hear all the stories.
Like Thunder Rosa has said some very nice things about her experiences with her and stuff. And
Tony Storm.
And honestly, if you're nice to our friends, then we consider you a friend as well. And the world is a lot less bright of a place without Hana Kimura's antics in it. In the Tokyo Cyber Squad was the shit. So there you go. Well,
and in other kind of sad news, Shad Gaspard was another story. He was pretty big time when he was doing the Crime Time gimmick, and I did not personally know him, but many of our friends were very closely associated with him. Jim was even at the memorial yesterday, and a friend of his wanted to stop by the show and kind of tell you his thoughts about Shad.
Wrestling lost a really, really great guy and a really great dad this last week, Shad Gaspard. And if I could push anybody, he's got a GoFundMe page that's set up for his son, Arya. And I'm sure the kid that his family could use the help right now. So I knew Shad personally. I wasn't his, we weren't best friends, but I didn't even know him through wrestling. I knew him through the gym, and our sons wrestled together. And so we would sit in the lobby of the wrestling club, and he would tell me the funniest stories and the craziest stories. And he was just a really, really decent, good guy. And, he was impressive on a lot of levels, but I'll tell you the thing that he was more than anything was an absolutely devoted father. And I always said, like, gosh, we should all be I wish I had the time to be the kind of dad that Shad was. And just a really, really good guy. And so I would encourage anybody, you want to help his son, and his wife, there is a GoFundMe page going for him, and there's t-shirts you can buy where the proceeds all go to Chad's family, and just a really sweetheart of a guy and a gentle giant, and we will all miss him terribly.
Hey everyone, it's Denise Salcedo here in Lucha Central with a look at all the great shows available this week on the Lucha Central Podcast Network, where you can find each show on its own or subscribe to the Lucha Central Podcast Network for every show in one easy feed. Just like the last 2 Mondays, this week we bring you the debut of one more monthly series, this one called The Business of the Business. Hosted by multi-decade wrestling writer, producer, promoter, and current Mass Republic president, Kevin Kleinrock. The series will take listeners into the inner workings of how officially licensed merchandise is made. This week on the show, graphic designer and illustrator Jeffrey Everett, who's created works for everyone from Seth Rollins to Rollins Band, and from Pentacero M to the Pope. Yes, the Pope. This is a series you are not going to want to miss. Tuesday's Matt's Mask and Mayhem takes you back inside the temple as they get inside Lucha Underground Episode 3. If you're in the United States, you can head to Tubi.tv, where you can watch each episode of the series in advance to each week's MMMShow. Don't miss the insider perspective from those who were there on set as the very first season unfolded. Thursday and Friday, we have you covered in both English and Spanish. First up, on Straight Out of the Bodega, Papo Esco, Gabriel Ramirez, and Kevin Kleinrock continue their conversation on a number of California scenes, wrestling promotions, and businesses. And on La Mesa de los Márgaros, CMLL luchador, member of the legendary Casas family, son of Felino, Tiger Casas, pulls up a seat around the table. On Friday, the Lucha Central Podcast Network brings you Lucha Central Weekly and Lucha Central Weekly en Español. Get all the latest updates from Mexico and the most newsworthy notes on luchadores across the globe, including a look at what went down at AEW Double or Nothing, and the latest on Triple A's plans to resume shows. Be sure to subscribe and follow all your favorite Lucha Central Network series on your favorite podcast platforms. And please be sure to give a rating and review to help more fans find the shows that you love. For now, this is Denise Salcedo signing off from Lucha Central. Have a great week.
So, the other thing is just passed on May the 11th was a year anniversary of the passing of Silver King. I was actually there, which was a pretty kind of horrible night and experience. But I think obviously most of you guys grew up with him through WCW and obviously naturally, bro.
And fucking Thing and yeah, dude, he was great. He was a great wrestler. This is today that we're filming is also the anniversary of Owen Hart's death. And if you saw that Dark Side of the Ring, that opens up a lot of old wounds. Watching that, I wasn't there. I do know someone that was, and they were really fucked up by it.
Yeah.
And then they went to WCW and had to watch Canyon do a fake death fall, like right after that, or like a year later or something like that, in the same building. So then they never went to wrestling again after that. But yeah, this is just a shitty time for wrestling. Like whether it's an anniversary or current events happening, it's kind of a dark time. So, we're going to try to look back at a happier time, at a time we really enjoyed.
Yes.
And that's why we're going to go back and we're going to review an episode that we had a lot of fun with. An episode that was a good time. We're going to try to think of the positive things to wrestling. There's a lot of negative things happening right now, and our hearts are with all the ones that are affected by that. But we think it's best to celebrate the things we love on this podcast, so we're going to do that right now.
Yes, let's absolutely move right forward. Let's get to some great, happy wrestling news and a wonderful episode of Lucha Underground Season 1, Episode 3. But I want to talk about one of the performers this week. Wrestling is super awesome. It's so awesome that Impact decided to drop Fenix on his head this week. What the fuck?
Oh,
I'm sorry. I was supposed to be bringing things up. I'm sorry. But I mean, dude, did you guys see that? Like, I'm sitting here watching these old episodes of Lucha Underground, and then right from that, I go and turn on, last week's Impact. I hadn't seen it. Dynamite, and I hadn't seen it yet. And I see this dive, and I'm just like, oh my God, that's Fenix's head on the concrete. What the fuck?
It wasn't even a dive. He went up, he floated in the air for about 10 minutes.
You know what?
And then everyone backed away.
Okay, we're not advocating the hiring of a certain Peep Stain, but he would have caught that. We're also not. We're absolutely advocating the hiring of one Black Taurus that would have caught that all by himself.
I think it's
Stevie
just
Wonder would have caught it.
Well,
That's how bad it is.
To be fair,
Ray Charles would have caught that dive.
To be fair, I think Fenix had kicked everyone around that ring, all those guys in the head before, and I think that's what they were all probably just ducking, thinking he was gonna do it again. But
come on, I mean, it was a great match.
Yeah, but it's funny because
you had the time to get underneath him.
But we're gonna see an episode. We're gonna talk about how we're gonna see Fenix jump from the top of an office, like from a first-story building, onto two luchadors. Fine, and you compare that.
Bigger dive. It really was.
And you compare that to this, which maybe the top rope or something.
I don't even want to blame those. I don't even want to blame those performers. I don't know. Maybe they lost them in the lights. Maybe there was something about the setup that didn't work, because the dive after that didn't go great either. It just didn't.
Catch anyone.
Yeah, they didn't really catch anyone. So something was wrong on that side of the ring. They need to not do dives on that side of the ring anymore.
Show was a bit snake bit also, because Nyla Rose fell on Britt Baker's leg and broke it.
Yeah, it reminded me of that old thing in Glow with Farmer's Daughter or whatever that thing was, where they showed that arm break like 72 times.
Yeah. God, I actually had that happen to my elbows.
And also, after Fenix did his jump and fell, and you have someone on him the whole time asking him if he's okay, they had two more dives in that same spot, and they still did them. I was a nervous wreck the whole time.
Oh yeah, I mean, look, sometimes you have your days, sometimes you don't. That was just one of those where it was like, why is everyone busting it this hard on the go home show for a pay-per-view anyway?
You're gonna have to wrestle a ladder match like soon after this too.
And I know that he's not. I know that AEW really wants to raise the bar to a certain extent, but you also do got to look at some of the things that WWE does, like a go home show. Nobody gets hurt. You gotta.
Unless it's Wade Barrett.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got some.
Get hurt the night after the pay-per-view, like Sid.
That was the main event of the pay-per-view. They just played
it was?
Right after. Yeah.
That's right. It was the main event. But look, he got all the way through. So anyway, we'll move on. I want to talk about Lucha Underground Season 1, Episode 3. We are going back to the best of the best. And this is an episode that we're all excited about. This is an episode we were excited about when it actually happened the first time, because this is one that sees the debut of 3 of the bestest of the best. And right off the bat, you get a vignette with Konnan and Dario talking about Fenix, Penta, and Drago coming. And the best line ever is I thought you were having problems with visas, and Konnan saying, no, we worked that out at the border, because that was so true at the time.
Absolute shoot.
Total shoot. For those who don't know, those guys, there was a lot of other performers that were slated to be at least at the tapings for the first 2 episodes, but could not make it into America that weekend. And Lucha Underground was plagued with visa issues from start to finish. I mean, it was part of the big problem with season 4.
One of many.
Yes.
It's not like a clown getting on, so we're all right.
Oh, if I look like I've been drinking blood, it's actually Kool-Aid, but it's making my mouth very red. I'm just noticing it right now. I'm not wearing lipstick, I promise.
Fall for it. I'm so excited to get through this episode, because to me, this episode still holds up, and it embodies.
I'm pretty excited to get through this episode also. It's very hot.
Small bladder.
I just drank a lot of Kool-Aid, bro. Like a lot.
I mean, look, the line in this scene too, this opening vignette, the wait till you see the guys I brought from Mexico, meant so much to me because it was like, yeah, we got some real lucha libre in the first couple episodes, but let's be honest. Like, I love Chavo, but Chavo and Blue Demon was not what I was expecting to see when I heard the pitch of Lucha Underground. I was expecting to see some of the new breed, some of the younger guys to really kind of reinvest myself in like, what is Lucha Libre like right now?
Oh, shit. Is this the episode where Chavo does the sit-down interview about that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, there's something I noticed in there that is really fucking funny.
There's a hilarious. We can talk about it right now. We can skip the first match and come back to it. Let's talk about it because
I'll
the
just
one
say
that I noticed
in order.
Did you notice
what I noticed was Vampiro telling Chavo that he was crazy, and I found that to be the funniest thing ever. That was the one that I noticed.
But I thought it was funny, and it was right before a hard edit, so I think he might have gone a little shooty, and they cut it out. Chavo calls him Blue Demon Jr. and does the finger quotes, and I'm like, oh shit. They went there.
No, but he does that, and he straight up says like he's coming in on his father's coattails, on his father's like.
Yeah, but that's after the edit. That was after the edit, Byron. So that was probably like, hey, let's not do that. Let's go back. Let's get a little more kayfabe here, Chavo. That was a very interesting interview to me too. But I thought that Chavo actually sold it pretty well, and I think that he was showing that with the promos. And you'll see a couple other promos coming up in these episodes too that aren't on that level of like this is a made guy. This is a guy who's been through the WWE. He's been a champion everywhere. He can cut a real promo. Vamp knew how to work it too. I don't know what their relationship was like at the time, but Vamp was kind of shooting on him a little bit and needling him, and it worked. The style of the whole thing totally worked. I thought this was one of the better sit-down interviews that Lucha's done.
I thought those interviews were so cool, and it sucks that they stopped doing them.
Yeah.
But it didn't fit Vampiro's character anymore once he became the master,
Yeah, and I think the vignettes grew into so much of a style of their own that it didn't really have a place. And let's be honest, so much of the rest of the cast was either Spanish speakers or really green. They couldn't have cut promos like Chavo did there. Mm-hmm. It was Chavo and Conan that did those original sit downs, and that it made sense.
Yeah, and Pentagon too did it.
Yeah. So, all right, let's go back to that match real quick. The first match was a debuting local luchador, El Mariachi Loco.
Hey, from the restaurant down the street. First of all, I love Mariachi Loco. First time I saw him was at the Anaheim Marketplace, and I think he was hurt at the time, and they were hyping up his comeback. Either that or he was wrestling in one of the first matches I've seen. But I'm like, this guy rules. He's got a cool mask with the tongue sticking out and shit. So awesome. And he's been one of my favorites since. Like, every time I see him on a show, I'm fucking happy. I don't care if he's a skeleton. I don't care if he's a fucking chessboard. It doesn't matter. He's awesome.
Whoa.
No, I think look, the show is over, man. I think it's time to expose the fact that El Mariachi Loco played, I don't know, 17, 18 different parts. What all parts did he play on Lucha Underground?
He was Sinestro de la Muerte from the Disciples of Death, the one that survived longest. And he was Saltador as well.
Saltador Checkers.
Yes.
From the Rabbit Tribe. The original Rabbit Tribe.
So he may hold the record for dying the most times on the show.
That's a good point.
Did they all die? Well, Mariachi Loco never died.
No. Mariachi Loco won a battle royal and won $50,000 and quit, but it was like an internet exclusive battle royal.
That was smart. He was the smartest one. He got out while he was still alive.
Yeah,
well, he can actually go in the ring too. He's a better wrestler than people give him credit for sometimes, which is why they brought in the top caliber, a big performer in Lucha Libre for this particular match against him, Mascarita Sagrada.
Mm-hmm. By big, we're talking about his dick size. I mean, his heart.
Yeah, there was a little extra sewed into that costume.
You gotta keep those down. You know what I mean? But let's see. So Masquerita and his huge hog. It's a legacy character. 900 people played Masquerita, all of them with huge hogs, and that's actually how you get the role. And
I'd buy that.
Masquerita is always one of the better workers in the minis divisions, and usually gets the gimmick because they're so great. Yes, a few of them are brothers, but that doesn't preclude you for getting the gimmick. That doesn't mean you're gonna get the gimmick just because you're a brother. You got to be like good. And because Torito used to be a Masquerita Sagrada before he became a Masquerita Dorada, before he became El Torito, before he became El Bunny.
That is also true.
But yeah, this match was great, dude.
It was really awesome. Like, I think it shocked a lot of people. And for people who had not seen a mini perform, it wasn't a mini's match. It was a mini versus a full-size guy, which you get every now and then, but it's kind of rare, and it was super fun and well done.
And I want to shout out Vampiro on commentary for having the same reactions to the match that I do while I watch it, which is laughing every time Masquerita gets the shit beat out of him. Even though I personally helped Masquerita beat up Famous B in Believers Backlash 2 by giving him football pads, and I helped it. It didn't fit my head, it fit his for some reason. I don't even know why I had it if it didn't fit my head. But yeah, it's good times.
It was a great match. I can't believe he choked out before the small package Loco. It was an awesome match.
You know something, Byron? That's the only time someone's used small package and Masquerita in the same sentence.
Oh, Jesus. I quit.
Are we gonna when we rate matches also rate dick sizes of the competitors?
Yep.
Is that Casey? Is that the new thing?
That's our new system.
New system. Do you think we could get merch out of it? Do you think we could have like the hogometer or something and put it on a shirt?
No, I had one of those, but Balor broke it. So
this big to wrestle.
Demon.
So no, it was Devitt. But
so that was a great match.
A long time ago.
That was a lot of fun. Lots of high flying lucha stuff. Lots of a big guy kicking a little guy in the head. And it was great. And also, like, you started to get the energy from the crowd, and there were people in the crowd.
Yeah, it was starting to be. It was starting to be more what you kind of are used to. I think the crowd was already into it. Vic is there in this one,
and Vic and Sonya teleport like 2 times during the match. It's really fucking weird.
Well, they were sitting next to Kevin Gill, so maybe they wanted to move.
They were, and then they were sitting over by the office, and then they were sitting back over by Kevin Gill in the same match. I noticed this.
What were you saying, me?
Whoever shot this needs to less Kevin Gill. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, he is a giant. I mean, he's look.
Himself over. I was like,
all Kevin Gillness aside. I mean, he is a big dude, and he was sitting front row of the bleachers because he got there first that day.
And honestly,
I blame him.
I saw someone say the same thing about TJ Miller in the crowd. I swear to God, they're like, "We get it. You have famous fans. Stop showing TJ Miller in the crowd." I'm like, "Oh, this is the most hilarious comment I've ever seen in my life."
Hey, but look, the rules of the old temple, man, if you were the first one there and you got to walk through first, you got to sit wherever you wanted to sit. And if that's where Kevin got, that's where Kevin got.
No, and he just got seats where he got them. They weren't giving him special treatment because I've seen him sit all over the temple.
Yeah.
He's a big
I just got tired of him showing his chain and his logo off.
Look, man, you got to get yourself over sometimes. Ruthless business.
If you had a chain from a luxurious rap company like Psychopathic Records, you'd be showing it all the time too. I'm sorry that your mixtape isn't taking off like you thought it would, but we do not need to transfer that hate onto Mr. PMA Kevin Gill unless he's doing commentary for a AAA pay-per-view.
Whoa, we don't talk about that. Bro, we're on luchacentral.com now, man. Like real Lucha Libre fans watch this shit. We never mention that U.S. commentary from that Triple Mania ever again.
I'm available if they want one.
Please.
So what happened next?
Oh, Conan and Chavo do a little thing backstage, a little vignette. But what's important is not that. What's important is that it's followed immediately by Mil and Katrina.
Ooh.
I have to say, I like I really like when Katrina is in the vignettes. Like, as much as I loved her walking past me in the actual arena, something about her in the vignettes, like, I feel like they gave her a very good treatment in all of the ones she was ever in.
Yeah. Well, there's that. And there's also, I think, just the way they did such a great job in establishing the intimidation factor of Mil and Katrina. And they both have their different.
I fucked up in one of our later ones because I was shitting on the fact that Matt Stryker on commentary knew about the Pascual Mendoza stuff. But it's in this vignette that he throws to, so he's seen the vignette, so it makes sense. So I was wrong, and I just wanted to say that for anyone going back to old episodes.
Yeah, well, look, honestly, this has been one of the criticisms of Lucha Underground, and when they were kind of developing the style, in other wrestling, everyone, fans and announcers included, are seeing the backstage packages. But when they're doing a vignette of people walking through halls or something or interacting, that's supposed to be something that the announcers don't see. And there have been a few times when they have accidentally referenced some of that stuff that they were not supposed to have seen. But in this particular case, you were correct, Casey, because this is not a vignette. This is a package. This is the 1,000 deaths of Pascual Mendoza as he was buried alive in a Mexico City earthquake and then came out, and you get the stone and everything. If people ever ask where the stone came from, this vignette shows you. And it doesn't get into all the mysticism yet behind the story.
It hasn't fucked the ghost yet.
Yeah, no one's teleporting yet or whatever. But this was probably the first segment that really set up the supernatural, because we're saying that this guy got buried and killed basically in an earthquake and is now back to enact his revenge for the thousands of people that died with him. So this is kind of the first teaser of the mysticism and the magical elements of Lucha Underground to me.
And I'm all for it.
Yeah. Also, and you can't blame him, but it seems like Matt Stryker went through puberty all over again when Katrina was ringside during the match.
Yes. I mean, I kind of didn't hear him because I was too busy staring at my screen myself, but yeah.
No, I'm not blaming him for it, but yeah. I mean, but it's just, there was a lot going on. Next match is
Ricky Mandel versus Mil Muertes. I mean, I totally thought Ricky was going to go over, right?
I think Stryker was like, I know this guy. He's really good. Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean, it was like the same sentence.
He hit Ricky so hard with the flatliner that it turned him into a skeleton.
But it's a couple developments with Mil Muertes. Vampiro laughed at his pajamas. And so I guess they knew what they were doing, or I don't know. I mean, of course he's going to. And then also he does the legit flatliner, not the little jumpy one. And he also just steamrolls dudes with his spear.
Did you feel like there was some heat with him and Ricky, maybe? I don't know. It seemed like Macias was a little stiff.
No, dude, it's the rule of Ricky's. You have to be nice to each other.
Okay. I'll take that. And then what happened after that? Oh, we went into another vignette.
Yeah.
This is the Mil vignette, isn't it?
The
was Mundo, right?
The Mundo fight scene in the hall. He takes out the junior members of the crew, which is interesting. We're seeing the crew again here. They got a lot of play early in the show.
Yeah, because this is when they were still like Dario's bitches, basically.
Yeah, they were literally watching the door. The Mr. Cueto isn't available right now kind of thing. And Mundo handled that business. And then proceeded to make like the nicest threat to Dario I think I've seen anyone make in the history of the series. Like, Johnny is just so damn affable that the scene is still good, but it comes off a little bit weird once you realize that he's demanding a match with Big Rick. And even
after I'm done with Big Rick, oh yeah, you're next, pal. Then we can have something out together.
It was pretty funny. I dug it. And then
would you like to come to my Flying Chuck comedy show after I finish off Big Rick?
Has anyone seen Mundo do any comedy? Like, can John Morrison do funny bits?
He's a funny dude. Boone the Bounty. Have you not seen Russell Madness? Jesus Christ!
I've seen
Justin.
Russell Madness and Boone. I'm talking about stand-up live in front of people.
Okay.
I mean, him and Miz are doing like short form, A form improv. We know.
I don't watch WWE.
Hey, I wasn't doubting it. I'm just asking. I don't know these things. I haven't seen it for myself.
He's a good guy.
I was afraid to show up because Taya wanted to kill me for a while, so I didn't want to have heat.
All right, but again, season 1. This is before. Oh,
well, true. So, Prince Puma, of course, gets another package. I think in 3 episodes, this is literally Puma's 5th package. What? We get it. This guy is
like overcompensation to me. Am I right?
I mean, maybe. I just thought it was kind of odd. Like, did they not have anything else? Was he really always their big push? Maybe if we ever have Evie Dub on the show, we should ask him.
Oh, I mean, he had to be. But, like, if you look at all the tribe representatives, he has to be your big push.
No, he was. He was a hard get for them, too.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, it seemed like a big deal.
About it. Evie Dub told us about it in MMMShow episode 47.
Honestly, like, if you have Ricochet, you should be pushing him to the top.
Yeah.
Unless he's Cero Miedoing me in the face and then jobbing the Brock Lesnar in 5 seconds.
It's amazing how those two things happen back to back. Like, one happened because of the other.
Yeah, wow. Exactly. It's like I made it happen with my mind, Byron. It's like I got a writer on the inside that made that happen for me.
No, but for all that, pretty much everyone says he can't cut a promo. I thought he did really great with the non-verbal acting on the show. You know, paired up with Conan, thought that was
everybody. You really mean me, right? Because I am the one that will flat out say Ricochet cannot cut a fucking promo. I'll say it to his face. I don't care. I'm sure he'll beat me down for it, but I don't think the guy can cut a promo.
He's made jokes about it. I don't think he knows.
I mean, it's not terrible. It's workable. There's things they can do there, but he is so much better in these early episodes, having Conan and having Skip produce segments for him and coming up with creative ways not to have him talk because he's not Latino. Like, it works so much better than even his stuff in Japan. Like, it's just better.
Yeah.
All right, so we got to talk about the most important moment of this episode, the 3-way dance, triple threat, whatever the hell you want to call it. Drago, Penta, Fenix. I will say this, of these guys, I was most excited to see Drago. I was a little bit excited to see Pentagon because I felt that he was pretty solid. I had no clue what I was getting with Fenix. What about you guys?
I liked both Fenix and Penta. I love Drago as well, but whenever I would see Drago, I would be sad that he wasn't Gato ever ready because I just love that battery cat.
Stupid.
I would say for me, the big thing about this is you have those cameramen on the ring aprons, and I think that's a bad idea. And you could definitely tell they were union camera guys, or the guy on the apron was a union camera guy. You know what I mean? So like that stopped this match. There was a corner spot, and
that was it right there, man.
They're all there, and Pentagon was like standing next to the guy on the apron, said like, "You got to move." He never went back up.
Wasn't that another thing that happened on this AEW show? Didn't somebody this past week get flattened? One of the cameramen get flattened?
I think it looked like it was an on purpose thing.
I think that was a work.
Okay,
maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, Meatloaf, what do you think about these 3 showing up in Lucha Underground finally?
Well, this was kind of the first match that kind of set the way it was going to be after this. So, like, going forward, this was the kind of action you were going to see. We saw a little bit with the Puma and Johnny Mundo match, but this was like, this was giving it the soul of Lucha Libre.
I agree. I mean, I feel like this was the Lucha Underground I was waiting for in general.
Shit, guys, I'm sorry. I thought I had my mic on mute that whole time I was crunching ice. I apologize.
No, I was eating too.
So was too. Everyone knows
podcast. I just wanted to say, Meef, with this camera, you're a very beautiful man.
Yeah, it's great that you're not underwater anymore. Also, if you knew this viewers of the MMM show. We are the premier wrestling mukbang podcast. So
I don't know what that
enjoy.
means. Can you explain?
That's what you guys were doing. They're videos of people, and they're very profitable, which is what we are striving to be.
I do tickle fetish videos too, Byron.
So we're blending genres. I'm gonna edit in some footage of my feet too.
Oh yeah, we should show our feet. That's
Man,
right.
if you knew how much money I made off that stuff, you wouldn't be laughing, bro.
Onlyfans.com/JustinHarvey75.
Yeah, send me DMs about it because I don't get enough of those already. So
6 stars in the
these guys will know. I've now reached a threshold with the DMs that I get that like I'm getting asked to do some very interesting things with people that I would never do those things with.
Yeah. The dudes that listen to our show are into some weird shit.
I mean, my DMs are starting to look like Cheerleader Melissa's page.
Oh no.
Love her though. Love her.
Are you gonna join the Dark Order, Justin?
I don't know. There is some crazy. I mean, I know she's into some kink and some weird stuff too, but like now she's using it to promote herself to get like into wrestling companies and shit. It's like if you haven't been to Cheerleader Melissa's Twitter or Instagram recently, do yourself a favor because there's just some things going on there that I could never explain if I wanted to.
If you're like under 18 and listening.
Oh yeah, I meant over 18.
Yeah.
Over 18.
I mean,
please.
yeah.
Not safe for work. So the match itself, I noticed a few things already from the first 2 episodes. There's more mats around the ring,
That's what we got the name of our show.
Yeah, which is kind of cool. And I also thought it was funny that Fenix, when he left to go do his dive, people were mad. People thought he was just like leaving the match or something. Like no idea the foreshadowing for something
he was
better.
just going home, going up the steps and leaving.
Yeah, like because of the weird setup of the but I guess it's a good thing too because it kind of establishes in the temple that like when people go up the steps, it's not like them just leaving.
Honestly, though, first time I saw this match, I was like, "Where the fuck is he going? Did he just
like he just left?"
That was one of the things. Like that was one of the things that this episode established about the show. You know, among all the other things in the action, they also established, hey, these dudes are gonna. You see the building. These guys are gonna fight and jump off everything. Just head on a swivel.
You're gonna see minis. You're gonna see women versus men. You're gonna see jobbers get squashed by Mil Muertes. You're going to see real Lucha Libre, modern style Lucha Libre from these young guys. And you're going to see people take crazy dives and do things that you're not expecting. And the crowd, this to me was the first real believers crowd. It was like the first few times, and you can't blame anybody who was at the first few shows. There were some people who were believing, who were getting into it and starting kind of the chain reaction. But you started to hear the chants going this time. You saw the crowd really getting into it. Vic probably had a ton to do with it, I'm betting, and a few other people. But this was the first time I was watching the show and was like, that crowd is fucking hot. That is hype. How do you get to go to one of those shows? Because I had not been yet. I will never claim to be one of the day one originals. I am not. I don't believe you guys are either. But yeah, this was it. This was the start of it. So that was the episode. Except for one little thing at the end. We get Dario Cueto standing next to a cell, and we don't exactly know what's going on.
In a cell. I'm sorry.
And it is the start of one of the longest teases in Lucha Underground history. Right here in episode 3 is basically the introduction of Matanza that you don't get to see for I don't know
by anyone, Justin.
30. When does Matanza actually show up? Like 34 episodes later?
So it's Ultima Lucha. No, it's Aztec Warfare 2.
Yeah,
season 2.
So it's like 36 something episodes away.
Right, and when you see the end of season 1, all they show is his eyes, and I was so fucking pissed I found this angle so captivating, and we knew it wasn't paying off in front of us because we weren't seeing fucking Matanza.
Right. He wasn't coming to the temple.
No. But then we finally saw Matanza, and we lost our shit. And Rob Viper called me a monster for cheering him over Rey Mysterio.
Oh.
I thought
that.
I thought it was really fun watching a dark battle royal before they debut, and we would see Matanza out of costume wrestling in the other gimmick, but doing like Matanza faces and movements.
Yeah, he was clearly trying something out. And when we say the other gimmick, we all know that Cortez Castro played Matanza as well, and which is weird,
a little strange.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm getting a message here. I think we're gonna have a special guest here in a second.
Sid! Oh shit! Did you guys get Sid?
It's not. So, I just wanted to say one thing about UFC real quick. Congratulations to Justin Gaethje on taking the interim title a couple weeks ago. We haven't really had a chance to talk about it here. That was a tough fight for me. I did a thing with Justin Gaethje last year, and I did a thing with Tony Ferguson quite a while back. I shot his package for Ultimate Fighter a long time ago from when he won. I didn't think he was going to win either. I picked the other guy. I picked Ramsey Nijum. And I've seen Tony a couple times since then, and he has not let me live that one down. So anyway, but congrats to Justin Gaethje. When I met him last year, he was really bumming that he could not get the Conor McGregor fight. Never thought he was going to actually find himself in the title picture. And during this whole crazy scenario with Khabib and COVID and everything, he just went out on a limb, took an opportunity. I thought it was crazy for Tony to take that match, though I did think that Tony had a very good chance. But Justin Gaethje just did everything right in that match, and kudos to him.
He guaranteed himself a match against Khabib or Conor, probably. So
yeah, he's either getting a huge payday from Conor or he's getting a shot at the belt from Khabib. I think that he wants Khabib more than Conor. I think he's still really butthurt that he couldn't get the Conor fight before. So I don't think he will fight Conor if Khabib is available. I think that's a mistake because I think Khabib beats him and Conor doesn't.
Lucha-Masks.com by Pro Wrestling Revolution, bringing you in partnership with Masked Republic, the Lucha Brothers, as well as Japanese legend Ultimo Dragon. Go to Lucha-Masks.com and fight Lucha Strong with masks from your favorite Lucha legends and Pro Wrestling Revolution luchadores. Stay safe in style and represent your favorite luchador. Get yours now at Lucha-Masks.com, powered by Pro Wrestling Revolution.
Right now, we're going to move into a segment with someone who has never been on the show before that we think you guys are really going to enjoy.
Yes, he's known as the man, the master, the ruler of the world, Sid Vicious.
No, it's not
Sid Justice?
Not Sid.
Psycho Sid?
Not Psycho Sid.
Lord Humongous?
You guys watch. Big surprise today, everybody. We have someone that we have wanted to get on this show for a long, long time. And you don't know Skip, but you're about to know Skip because this is one of the executive producers of Lucha Underground, and he's responsible for a whole lot of the stuff that you know and love about the show. And you think, if you're a Lucha Underground fan, you've definitely seen his work. But even if you're not a Lucha Underground fan, I guarantee you've seen his work. You may not even know it. And he is one of the semi-unsung heroes of Hollywood, I'll say, because definitely plenty of people in town absolutely know who Skip is and respect his work immensely. But some of you might not know. But if I said things to you like the trailer for, I don't know, Mission Impossible, you might think you've seen that once or twice, maybe.
Yeah.
What was it? Jurassic Park: The Lost World?
Yeah, Lost World. Yeah.
Titanic?
Yeah.
Wasn't that one of yours? Titanic?
I'm starting to feel old. Yeah.
Okay, a little bit newer. How about Prometheus? One of my favorites.
Prometheus, yeah.
I love that trailer.
Mm-hmm.
So Skip has acquired a skill through hard work, dedication, effort, internships, kicking around town, taking every project that falls into his lap, of being quite possibly one of the best editors of trailers ever. And he's also the guy that directs all those vignettes and behind the scenes, not in the ring stuff that everybody knows and loves from Lucha Underground. So it is a pleasure and honor to have with us today Skip Chaisson, one of the executive producers of Lucha Underground. Welcome.
Yeah,
Thanks,
welcome.
Thanks, guys. It's very nice. Thank you for that introduction. It's very, very sweet. It is nice. Thanks, guys.
Well, I mean, we're fans and geeks too, and it's like,
Yeah.
And talking about the Prometheus trailer, I think that was one of the first times where I actually actively sought out, like, oh my God, who did the teaser trailer or the trailer or something? I had seen it, and I was just like, damn, I want to see this movie. I want to know what the mythology is. You know, holy crap. You know, I just that trailer alone got me so damn excited. And then, you know, thanks to the internet these days, got all in there. And it wasn't until, I don't even think it was until season 2 of Lucha Underground when Eric Van Wagenen told me, like, oh yeah, Skip Chaisson does all that stuff. And I was like, the trailer guy, that Skip? He's like, oh yeah, he works at El Rey now and he's doing all this stuff. And I just during the first season, I had no clue. So
they're really busy. Yeah.
I gotta ask, like, we'll start with Lucha Underground. Like, how did the Lucha Underground thing fall into your realm, in your sphere?
Yeah, it was, well, let's see. A lot of stuff was happening at that time. We were getting ready to launch El Rey. And I'd known Robert through features and feature advertising work. And he brought up, we were just really talking about El Rey, and that there's a mission to the channel to promote diversity in front of and behind the camera, and not just like lip service, just it's telling stories that can appeal to a broad audience. You know, Lucha Underground is really a testament to that. And also, El Rey started on genre love, you know, so it was like Robert's playlist and Quentin's playlist of like cool stuff. And when you start up a cable channel, while you're in production on original things, you still have to put stuff on the air. Like, you know, there's a timing aspect to it. And so what became like cost effective, we thought, as Robert says, something that's a negative, you can turn that around to be a positive. And it turns out that stuff that was inexpensive and was able to be gotten and put on the air was stuff that just, you know, people weren't searching out. A lot of Grindhouse stuff, the Shaw Brothers library, a lot of that kind of stuff, science fiction stuff, action stuff, and everything that we liked, that helped populate the channel. And we were talking about all this cool stuff that was coming up: Dusk Till Dawn, Lucha Underground, Matador, all this stuff. And for when we had discussions about Lucha Underground, and it wasn't called Lucha Underground at first. There was a lot of different luchas here, lucha there, you know, domination, all kinds of stuff. But at its core was a love of where I started watching wrestling was in the old WWF days, where it was Sergeant Slaughter and the British Bulldogs and Mr. Saito, Mr. Ito, I can't remember, Rock's, Dwayne's dad, all those things that I grew up in that lore. And my dad, we lived here in Los Angeles. When we lived here, we would go to the Olympic Auditorium and see those things. And I always liked the atmosphere of the Olympic, the lighting of the Olympic. That, you know, stayed with me even just as a little kid. And when we were talking about lucha, that was part of the flavor was, well, okay, so they're wrestlers and they have this big this lore. And as a kid, they were superheroes. So I thought, oh, okay, let's lean into that. That's where it is. Let's bring those things to life. And where other promotions would have backstage vignettes, the lore wasn't really touched upon nowadays. It was more the the relationships of the crowd to get pumped up, and then what storyline was going. But their backstory, whatever that may be, backstory motivations really became like with the previous week or the previous match or the previous thing, not the historical aspect of it, or the historical bad guy versus good guy, the evil thing. You know, there was the face and everything else, but it wasn't like Sergeant Slaughter. I figured okay, he really was in the military, all that stuff. I had that feeling, and I forget who it was. Sergeant Slaughter versus was it Khomeini? I can't remember. Oh man, it was, but he had his villains, but there was always a motivation, and I felt like they were in a universe, even though they were all different characters. They felt like they were in the same crazy universe, and that was out there. And as a kid, I just felt like that was out there. And when I was young, we didn't have the benefit. We had comic books, and so it was up to us to read those comic books and to bring those things to life through our imagination. And so the one thing that was on TV consistently, other than Batman had his universe, but was wrestling. And that universe was brought to life. So that was a really, I was still into comic books, but that was something that was coming to life at that time. Around that same time period, I don't know if you remember, there was a sizzle reel that was done for a concept of Mortal Kombat. And it took Mortal Kombat to, it had Michael Jai White in it, and it was just grungy as heck and super violent. And,
you had the Legacy stuff, right?
Yeah, even before Legacy. It was like...
that's what got Legacy made or something like
exactly,
that?
or put it in the pipeline. It was probably like 4 minutes long or something, heavily produced. The kills were awesome. I mean, it was just, it was great. It was cinema. And so when Robert asked me about it, I just thought, well, what would Robert, and now, when Robert said, "Hey, dude, go for it. Let's see what we can do with this and to raise it up." And so everything that we do at El Rey is we look at it through a cinematic lens. And when I talk to Eric, DJ, and Roach, I mean, they're all about elevating and putting stuff cinematic wise and looking at it from that theatrical lens. What they were writing, rather than just have people refer to things in a locker room, I started to think, well, oh yeah, we could bring that to life. Like, all right, let's bring that to life, and let's see where if the audience will stay with us. So we didn't just really start out with Drago breathing fire. It took a little while to get there, and the first, like, see what fantastical is thing. What's that about? And that was getting all the partners on board as well.
Right.
And
there's always that.
Yes. And what I did was, part of what I would do to help people get their movies started, or to help studios really see or get a feel for what the director is talking about. If there's a pitch, I would create these sizzle reels or rip-o-matics. We call a bunch of different things. In commercials, it was rip-o-matics. For features, I started doing them. So I shot some stuff, got some other stuff together, and just created a little feeling of what a vignette could be. And that was one of the things that really coalesced everybody. Like, all the partners and everything were like, oh yeah, okay, that's where we're at. And that really started to push everybody forward. I'm not taking credit for it. It was just everybody had their vision and they wanted to see something, but they were all describing it separately. And when I came in after the fact, like later on in the process, all the negotiations and everything. And so I came in towards the end, just before we got that go. And so I was able to hear everybody and go, oh yeah, okay, I'll just cut a little sizzle. But it really helped people go, oh, okay. And then,
well, seeing is believing. I mean, you get that thing in front of people, and we talk about the business side of Lucha Underground a lot on this show too. So we completely understand how many voices are in the room. It's a show with a lot of chefs.
Yeah. And they all, it can, when you hear, the kitchen's got too many chefs in there or too many cooks in the kitchen, I always look at it. Now this is something you bring from the trailer world. If you imagine a passionate filmmaker, passionate producer, also studios with the best intentions, and then there's the studio head, and then there's the head of marketing, who also answers to all these different voices. It's easy to think of everybody as being negative against each other, but really they all want the best. And if you can look back and hold your spirit and go, okay, I understand this is a little crazy, but everybody's just looking for the best product. They want to do the best thing or tell the best story. And so that was the mindset that I brought into Lucha. And that was almost super needed, which was that person who was, it's almost a consigliere, like from The Godfather.
Right.
But it's also somebody who listens and goes, okay, this is what we can do for this. This is what we can do for, I hear you. Now let's put that together. I think that helped. That helped a lot, because it has helped a lot.
The style was kind of, to me, especially, and we're rewatching right now the first season, because we're kind of talking about those early episodes on this podcast, and I've gone back and seen some of those early vignettes again, and it feels like a little bit like you got a little El Santo movie vibe in there, crossed with a little bit of Robert's Dusk Till Dawn thing, and maybe some Bruce Lee kind of action.
Which I can't wait until we get to the Pentagon stuff again, with the breaking the arms and
we're totally and I want to ask you specifically about that one, but
because those shows made the man's career, basically.
Well, yes, for sure, but in those first few vignettes, like, was that the style you were going for? Were you trying to bring in those elements, or did it just happen that way?
Yeah, and it wasn't just me pulling. After I talked to wrestlers, one of the things that it was enjoyable for me, all of them had this huge love for Bruce Lee and Bruce Lee movies, like each and every one. And that was almost a unifying understanding for everybody, because you had people, not just a language thing, but as you know, in Mexico City, it's not just like, hey, just because you're in Mexico City, it means you agree on everything, or you're just of one mind. It's like, okay, I'm from California, so all you guys must think the same way. No, there's a lot of different opinions and variations of dialect and things. But I have to say, the unifying element was Bruce Lee. Everybody immediately got behind that. And so from an action standpoint, we would take that. I took that as a core, and then threw in the signature live action move from everyone that we could do, or that we could throw into that mix. And the reason why I started with the martial arts thing was because it helped people understand the necessity of playing towards the camera, and the difference between playing towards the camera and the wider stage audiences if you were in a stage play. That was a big translation thing that for everybody. And then even from how to make a fist on film versus in the ring, hold the egg when you're in the ring. On film, make a fist. Those little things that you're like, that they were just learning, and it wasn't even just learning, but realizing. A lot of it was realizing. So between that, I would use for style and mood, I'd cut together each little sizzles or scenes for everyone. And sometimes it's not just for action. Like with Luis and Conan, one of the very first scenes that we shot is dialogue-wise. I showed them the diner scene from Heat. And that was that, even just saying, okay, you're De Niro, you're Pacino, automatically gave them confidence. They understood performance. They understood, I'm not just standing in a parking lot yelling at somebody. Somebody's really I'm really taking this seriously. And then they immediately changed their dialogue and how they wanted to learn their dialogue and how those beats were, if I'm comparing them to something that Michael Mann did, and then using the same kind of camera moves, they started to get that. And so then everything, all these scenes, if you look at all those scenes, they're all homages, and they're homages from love, but also because stuff I showed them. Look, guys, it's going to be like this. It's going to be like this. Or this is what we're going for. And it automatically gave them a sense of pride and excitement. It was nothing on me. It was just, I'm using the great works of other people to say, okay, right. So Pentagon, this is Toshiro Mifune. Here he is in Seven Samurai. Look at how he's standing. Look at how he's walking. Look how he does. He doesn't talk. And because he was concerned, he was coming off in season 1. You guys know more than me. He was coming off a really serious back injury. His movement was limited. So he was concerned. He was like, this was a great example that we're turning him into this huge martial arts master. But his movements, it was tough for him. It was frustrating for him too, because he could do a lot of stuff, but it was just painful for him. And he needed to have an economy of movement. And so I showed him Seven Samurai, a scene from Seven Samurai, and Clint Eastwood, to accept that economy of movement, but still portray that badass thing while he was healing. So you'll see as season 1 goes along, like how he moves, and then ultimately, once you get to 2 or 3, he really went over, like he was feeling his oats, and he was
End
really
of 2,
healthy.
basically.
Yeah, and end of 2, yeah. But anyway, those were little tricks. And so,
well, I mean, in case you brought it up,
stuff, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
We got to ask you about the Pentagon thing, because you may not accept credit for this, but I think that us, as well as EB Dub and DJ and a lot of other people, will give you the credit for part of really what got Pentagon over, which was the arm breaking thing. And the guy is a superstar now because of it. And honestly, you are really kind of responsible for that. So where did that come from, and how did it branch into the ring? I mean, it was a huge thing. Well,
it was a discussion. Thanks for that. I can't say I can't take full credit for that. He sold it over. But it was a discussion between I brought on a good friend of mine, and we could just call him Sifu Ray, and he was the martial arts kind of stunt advisor in there. And so Ray and I were talking about Pentagon is a master of all the mystic arts, mystic martial arts. So it's, not just straight up martial arts, but mystic martial arts. And so I thought I wanted to put him in something that was like a game of death. Mm-hmm. Oh, I just lost you. Are you guys hearing?
Yeah.
Justin
desynced a little bit.
Oh, okay. But anyway, so, his set is reminiscent of a game of death, and his origin story that has all the different martial artists from different styles is reminiscent of Game of Death, Bruce Lee's Game of Death. And so if he was ultimately a master, we wanted to relate that to ending up in the ring, which was wrestling, which was jiu-jitsu and the arm break. And so the arm break, putting him on the floor. So he fights a Wing Chun guy, he fights a Taekwondo guy, he fights a Muay Thai guy, all these things that he eventually sees. And this is very deep, but whether you see it or not, this was my thought process, was those different martial arts were chosen, even the Praying Mantis guy, were chosen because all the opponents that he would see in the ring later, if you're watching those vignettes, you'll go, oh, that's so-and-so, that's so-and-so, that's so-and-so. I was taking different arts from there, knowing that one move or that one move might happen later. And so it gave the audience a kind of a subliminal callback to like, oh, I've seen him do this, I've seen him do this. The one thing that went way over was the arm bar, because we finished the sequence with that.
Leaving the martial arts masters in the shape of a pentagon with their dead bodies on the floor, absolutely overhead. Tremendous. Yes, loved it so much, because he is my favorite wrestler right now, and he has been since Lucha Underground. And that vignette is one of the things that made him my favorite wrestler.
It was really fun to shoot. It was fun to shoot. It was fun to shoot. It was interesting, and I wish he'd been able to enjoy it a little bit more, but he was in a lot of pain. That guy, man, what a trooper. As you guys know, wrestlers are freaking troopers. They go through pain just daily. And, we're asking him to do a lot of stuff, and they're getting used to, this was a big thing, especially in season 1, was wrestlers getting used to doing multiple takes. Usually they just like, one and done, I'm out there in front of the audience. I got to land it or not. If it's a mess up or whatever, I got to roll with it. Where here, I'm asking them to do it, over and over. I don't know how many times I had Puma flip, just so I could cover all these angles. It works great. But with Penta, it was tough. He struggled. He went through it. He made it through. Especially, and then if telling wrestlers to sell a move or to sell a look, that's second nature, and that's where they really enjoy it. So, with the different beats and everything, and we had timings of, like, you guys remember so there's a Pentagon. So then part of that, all that stuff for the Pentagon is the number of candles we had around in his dojo. And so then we had different angles of, okay, he's going to kill this guy, but when he kills him, we're going to rack focus and poof, blow out the candle as he kills the guy, or as he takes his soul. As he takes his soul, so it goes boom, 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 boom. And then the last one was when he's sitting and he really is a cell, and we push in, and he does his sign. It's just that was really fun. That was really
absolute gold.
But
probably my favorite segment in wrestling history.
Yeah. But it wasn't like, I didn't think, okay, this is going to be your signature thing. We just thought, oh, he really knows how to do it, and it's a good thing. It's shooting an armbar cinematically. You always have, especially if it ends up in a break, you get the audience immediately cringes, and it's a good thing to cheat that move, but it gets people every time.
And it got him over so much that now he's in AEW. They haven't even tried to go duplicate that vignette because
are they doing vignettes? I didn't even know.
Not really, no. And
some of them like Darby Allin will shoot his own stuff.
There's a couple.
Yeah, most of the vignettes are shot by the guys.
But it's a lot of like new guys who need to bring up the characters, like the first season of Lucha, but they haven't done anything with Pentagon. I don't think they've really needed to introduce him at all.
Well, they don't need to at this point. I mean, I feel
we established
and that's the thing. I mean, he left when Lucha Underground ended. He was able to leave there and just instantly be the top draw on the indies. I mean, instantly. And then he's doing stuff with Impact, or even when he was going back to AAA, like any place he walked into, he went from being a low mid-card guy in AAA, came to Lucha Underground, got the arm break thing, went completely over, and was huge. And all of a sudden, the guy leaves there, and there's these moments where stars transcend, where they might have been a big name, like Triple H. He was a big guy when he was in Degeneration X, but he wasn't the Triple H we know today. And then, he does the Mick Foley thing, and he's throwing Mick Foley through cages and stuff. And all of a sudden there's that career-defining moment. And for the rest of time, he's this bigger level guy. Yeah. And for Pentagon, that moment was simply in that vignette, breaking an arm. And all of a sudden, that created a trajectory for him as a wrestler, luchador, that is unheard of a lot of times for the guys at this level. A lot of other guys had big moments, but weren't able to transcend like he was.
Yeah, he was.
The Master storyline too was like one of the first really meaty storylines. And as a fan, getting used to Lucha Underground's presentation, one of the things you talk about is they deliver where a lot of wrestling doesn't. And so there's this big Master storyline. And the longer it goes, like the more exciting it gets. Who's it going to be? What's it going to be? And there's just so much. I remember his first submission match against Sexy Star, where she was still face.
Yeah.
Casey and I were the only ones in the crowd yelling our heads off for him to break her arm the whole match.
And then, lo and behold, that was a shock. I'm sure Eric and the boys said that too. It's like, whoa, they're like it. Okay, well, let's go with it. That's the beauty. That is, I have to give, with DJ and Roach is, you for series television, and you're reacting to fan reactions, kind of, but it's a long time for feedback. And then over time, then you have to, coalesce an amount to justify, maybe we're going to turn him this way, but it's almost always an internal discussion with a lot of execs that are reacting to testing and everything, which there's good and bad. And then there's even interpolation and testing, but not unlike a trailer that you get an audience, you have a captive audience, and there's specific reaction. Those live things there, Chris and DJ were able to react and modify stories right then. Okay, who's going over? We know, they're starting to track. All right, let's modify this. That's incredibly hard thing to do. I know it's somewhat commonplace in wrestling just to track and see who's going to go over and who's this and to modify. But
I mean, that's part of how we
do. Yeah.
That's part of how we even got to know them, because they would come out and talk to us. And, given Byron and I have a TV background in production as well, and I know a ton of the same people from reality, and so does Byron, and Casey's, got a master's in screenwriting and whatnot. So we were good wrestling fans for them because we understood their language, but at the same time, they were just coming to us because they saw us as guys who were popping in the audience and other people as well.
Yeah, we were the crazy Ultima Lucha Pentagon fans with the signs. That was us.
Yeah.
Hey,
the believers. Yeah.
Casey was also in a match. Don't let him fool you.
Oh yeah, I was one of the believers Backlash guys. Yeah,
Backlash. Oh wow. Oh, that was crazy. Wow.
Yeah, that was good times.
Yeah, that was.
But
I remember. I remember. Oh,
the instant feedback though, and their inclusion of that instant feedback. I mean, we saw it. Like we've all seen things that we've said, or somebody else that's a friend of ours that's a believer has said to them. End up in the show, and not just end up in the show the way that we said it either, or what we'd like to see, because DJ and Roach especially are just sick, sadistic dudes. So they'll take your idea and just turn it on its head completely and do the most outrageous version of it. A lot of times, but it was a lot
sometimes they'll pull that Wishmaster shit on you, where it's be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. Well, I can say. Geez, I can't remember if it was season 1 or 2. When did the Nunchuck match happen?
Nunchucks was 2, I believe.
Was it 2? It was and that spun off of so we had this thing where Drago was getting attacked in the bathroom because that was like a deadly bathroom. Stuff was always going down in there.
The meanest bathroom in Boyle Heights.
Yeah. Oh, and Drago was really good. He was a guy that was one of the first things I saw of him was, wow, I realized like, oh yeah, he's really confident with a pair of nunchucks. And then the nicest guy in the world. And so I said, well, okay, again, we're all Bruce Lee fans. And I said, well, in Game of Death, there was one nunchuck versus one nunchuck. If we're going to do nunchucks, we gotta up the ante. So, and then Jack Evans, a great martial artist in his own right, says, oh, okay. So there, and then I think we had Darewolf. So then it ends up like being 3 nunchucks, or 2 versus 1. And that day, once we figured it out, I said, okay, you could see as we were shooting, because we would shoot just the shoots were really crazy. So we'd have one scene and then prepping for another scene while another scene's going on. And so it's just a round robin. So while we're shooting another scene, I could take a break and walk out, and I'd see the guys in the temple, different parts, all with pairs of nunchucks. And so it just became more and more and more in this thing. And let's see, before I implemented it, I had the idea, asked Eric and everybody, and they were like, oh, okay, we didn't think about it. That's great. The wrestlers got into it. Next thing you know, Aerostar's coming back from the future, and he has 2 glowing nunchucks. And so it was just, and that was like Kelly and props. So I was like, okay, so if he's coming from the future, he's going to be at night. Let's have something that glows. And so she pauses. All right. And then she goes and comes back. And then next thing you know, we've got these 2 things. And the thing with Aerostar, he'd never picked up 1 nunchuck, let alone 2. So that day, Ray, our advisor, was working with him, as was everybody else. And so it was just like the nunchuck day. And then that leads to actually having nunchucks in the match with an audience out there. That was crazy. But it just started.
I have a little bit of a story of the nunchucks match that you might not have seen.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, so I got made fun of this for probably the rest of my life, but there's a part where they're brawling on top of Dario's office.
Yeah, okay.
And the nunchucks fall off by accident, and they land right at my feet.
So what would you do then if they landed at your feet, Casey?
I would pick them up and throw them to the good guy, Drago, right?
Throw them to him, correct?
It went right over Drago's head and into Jack Evans's hands. And
that's great.
Yeah, so on commentary, Matt Stryker's like, why did that fan just throw those nunchucks to Jack Evans of all people? I'm like,
so funny. Oh man,
so classic.
You in space.
So
awesome. We couldn't write it. Yeah. Well,
I got to talk to you a little bit about the trailer thing, because it's so applicable in this world. Because what we figured out over time is that you are the perfect guy to literally be able to, I won't say mimic, but embody another director's style at any point in time, because you've dealt with all of them. You've dealt with Spielberg,
of
both the Scotts, Bruckheimer, Mann, De Palma. Like, literally a ridiculous John Woo. Didn't you do some trailer stuff for Mission Impossible 2 for John?
John was awesome. Yeah, and then we ended up doing stuff for him for this BMW camera. What a sweetheart guy for doing so much mayhem. The nicest man. I mean, he was awesome. John was awesome. Yeah.
So the one that strikes me the most is the Gone in 60 Seconds, because I think this is a perfect kind of testament to your skills of you get a little bit of raw footage or whatever, but then you have people from The Office and whatnot, cut it, explain that to me and what you did, because I feel like Lucha Underground's the same thing. It's like, here's a bunch of raw goods. Now make it in this style so that we can all be happy and love this product.
It's so funny. Well, lots of times in trailers as an indie filmmaking, if you think of trailers, I came to think of trailers as indie filmmaking. Before I was doing trailers, I was doing a lot of other stuff in the industry. And at that time, a lot of commercial production and music videos, and especially music videos, limited budget. And during that time, not that was a specific time where everybody wanted something different. If you shot it, everything was shot on film. And even just in the transfer, even in the color correction, everybody wanted something different. Step on the negative, throw some dirt on there. Let's film roll it backwards and forwards and over process, cross process. All that was commonplace. And I kind of adapted that language. And when I started doing trailers very early on, I think one of the first ones I worked on, didn't do it solely, was Natural Born Killers. And Natural Born Killers was cross-processed and overlays and all this in super rich colors. But it was also, what did Oliver Stone at the time, he said that the editorial that he was looking for was subliminal editorial to get the subtext of the character across. So now when you watch that movie,
that's deep.
yeah. Now that seems crazy, but now if you watch that movie, stuff would be going and cross-cutting and everything in the middle of dialogue or something, but that's really what's going on he was saying that's what's going on in that character's thought process. And so I thought, okay, that was really interesting. And then, other trailers later, other storytelling things later, because I was blessed with being able to go, okay, so sometimes I would do the trailer, sometimes I'd do the teaser in the trailer. Then it would be the main title sequence or a sequence within the movie. Because lots of times with trailers, people are getting dailies as the thing is shot. And many times you don't even have a cut of the movie, even a string out. When I call string, you guys know a string. Yeah. Even where the basic story is laid out, you don't have that. You have a script, and oftentimes that script, and sometimes it's not even a shooting script, or it's just the script just before the shooting script. So you're tasked with interpreting what the heck is going on from hours and acres. It can be acres. I'm not exaggerating. Acres of footage,
right?
Without the benefit of having one discussion with the director or two discussions, because they are under the gun because of time. It's all time and money. So your interpretation, sometimes you're not called upon to tell the whole story, which in my opinion is the best thing about teasers and trailers. When you're not telling the whole story, you're giving a vibe, you're giving a feeling. Prometheus gives a vibe and a feeling. And sometimes, the story isn't told till later when people get all this footage in, and it's necessity because you only have a certain amount of things. With Gone in 60 Seconds, I had a couple car chases, had a couple cool lines from Nicolas Cage. Thankfully, I had cool lines from each person.
Thank God.
Enough cool lines from each person. And then things we didn't have, as an independent filmmaking, like, somebody screaming as a car goes through a glass window, that's me screaming. Or, it's
the new Wilhelm, right? Skip is the new Wilhelm scream. I'm going to find that and I'm going to use it forever, Skip.
It's in there. Yeah. Angelina Jolie, she yells and laughs, but we don't have that. So it's the receptionist, or something like that. That would happen a lot. And it still does. But with that, what did we do? We were fans of the original. That was a big thing. And around that time, I had just learned basic Photoshop skills and how to implement that into cutting film. And that was really a big thing. I mean, huge thing. Now it's like commonplace, and Adobe Photoshop and all this stuff. It's just there.
Right.
Doing something like that, then, not to my testament, it was just we're learning technology as it goes. And hey, it's in the middle of the night. We don't have graphics. I know how to do a graphic. So I do that graphic. So if you watch Gone in 60 Seconds, it's like the same graphic trick over and over again, because it was the only thing I knew how to do. So what we did was, I big fan of drive-in movies. I had a drive-in movie book, and just a big fan of movies, the movie-going experience in general. So I had books of stills that were public domain. And so I shot those kinds of things. We scanned them in with some other overlays. And it took, at the time, which was the beginning of, with just the small amount of footage, at that time, it just looked like a regular car chase thing, not a full-fledged thing. Nothing against the director. They're in the middle of shooting. They don't have all the meat,
Right.
So,
they're just sending you dailies, basically, right?
Yeah, dailies, and not all their best dailies, because they're in the middle of shooting. It's what you got. So between that and a couple of fun pieces of music and playing with the logo, so you can see there's a lot of manipulation of the Jerry Bruckheimer logo.
Right. A couple times in that trailer.
Yeah, that's because we didn't have a lot of footage. So I did have the logo, and I knew the logo, and Jerry was cool with me messing with it. So,
well, and he was big time then too. So that logo actually got people excited. I mean, I loved that trailer.
That was a brand. And then then I don't know if people had really messed with the logo at that time period. So that was out of necessity. And so with sound effects and, to the road down to Jerry's tree from his, from his farm, became a race. So, I think it was Confunction. I grown up with that song and stuff. And so anyway, it was just a ride and very basic one-note stories. What's the idea? What's the core idea? 50 cars, 24 hours, something.
Well, it's genius. It's a genius trailer too, because it doesn't have to be the movie. It has to make you want to see the movie and represent what the movie's about. And I think you did capture that. It gave you the flavor. And I was like, oh, this is a badass remake. I actually want to go see this now. And I won't mention any specific movies here, but a lot of times
one of the things that was at that time period, right around that time, KROQ was huge, still huge. It's its thing. But that was huge, and they would manipulate sound. They would manipulate their voices in their promos. So they would put a futz on the voice and repeat the voice and do something else. And I said, everybody's hearing that now, but they're hearing it on the radio. And KROQ was not just an old guy liking stuff then. It was like the height of young.
It was the hype stuff right there.
Yeah, that was young and alternative. And so I was listening to that, and I was like, man, I'm liking it because it's neat. And so one of the voices on there was a female voice, and in their promos, just in back there, because KROQ at that time was just, there was a cool thing and then a sexy thing and then this and that overtly, blah, 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 blah. So I thought, oh, this is really dope. And
how did you even get away with getting a woman in there and some of the sexy stuff in the trailer too? Because there's a couple of really suggestive lines towards the end that were not done in trailers back then.
No. We crossed all kinds of lines. It was like an El Rey trailer back in the day. Like El Rey just breaks all the rules. But anyway, that was I can't remember what I'd done. Something with Melissa, and she was just awesome. And I was thinking, man, as soon as I can, I'm going to find an opportunity to put this, because nobody else. Now, again, it was Gone in 60 Seconds, a remake, but around that time period, I forget what huge movies were coming out that had branding attached. So I was trying to think of just anything. What's different? What's going to set us out? Well, there's all these other macho things. Let's put Melissa's voice in there, and then I'll repeat it. It was just, that was creating a music video and the storytelling of it. And everybody, again, it wasn't just me sitting in a vacuum. Just imagine I'm going to say the balls of people at Disney. This was Touchstone to Disney doing this kind
of I believe me, I get it. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and Oren and I think Dave Singh, these two guys, great. They said, let's go. I mean, the weight on their shoulders. Forget about it.
I just can't. I really just can't even believe you just didn't get a firm no and just have to go back and recut it immediately.
Those guys were like, "Okay, let's go." That testament to them. They were like, "Yeah, all right, that sounds good. Let's go for it." And
absolutely amazing. If you guys liked that, be sure to come back next week for part 2, where Skip is going to talk about so much more Lucha Underground stuff, and maybe even another special guest in addition to that. So make sure you guys come back next week. Make sure you rate, review, subscribe, like, thumbs up, all that crap. And remember, until next time, stay calm and stay in the mix.